Oh, yes. Oh, I never updated. It still says Hake is either live, testing, or someone made a mistake. I gotta fix that. It should just say Hake is live. And yes, it is true. I am live. It is Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. And it is 9:03 a.m., guys. I should be saying officially live at 9:03 or 4 or 2. But this is the Hake Report. You can call in. Some of you already have and are on hold already. 888-775-3773. Let's get ready with the show. I do see I am live on DLive, YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, and Twitch should be connecting if it hasn't already. And you can tune in through jesseleepeterson.com/show if you're so inclined, or the hakereport.com/show. Click on listen on the jesseleepeterson.com/show, and you'll see the audio player from which you can play. Or you can go to the TalkStream Live thing. Anyways, guys, let's get started.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, what's up, everybody? The lines are full. They are officially full. And I will be getting to you guys. Some people want to talk about Tomi Lahren. People want to talk about art. And I'm told by Take Care Business Bear that the audio and video sync are slightly out of sync. The video and audio are slightly out of sync. Maybe just refresh and maybe it'll fix itself, or maybe we are really out of sync slightly, but not a big deal. Appreciate the heads up if true. And if it's not true, forget you. I quickly, before I get to calls though, you know, we're live on, I told you the platforms we're live on, no longer on Mixer. I need to fix that. Mixer has been bought by Facebook and it no longer exists. It is now Facebook Gaming. Ridiculous, huh? But I am live on even Twitch. So, you know, I wanted to talk briefly, real quick, my thoughts about conservative women. People get all excited anytime a woman becomes a conservative. Partly this is because of all of this hullabaloo over, what's her name? Tomi Lahren, who's 28 today. Happy birthday. But I just remember during the days when I used to be on Facebook. I'm hardly on Facebook anymore, even though I do stream live on Facebook. And I do check it. Appreciate you guys joining there. That's nice. But people would get all pumped up because they would see Tomi Lahren's final thoughts, and she would roast the liberals with, you know, she would say factual, true things about the insanity of the liberals. But it doesn't mean that she was a sane person, and it doesn't mean that she was, I don't know, right. She just had this kind of bratty voice, and I just never got that excited. Same thing with basically. I mean, I don't think people should be getting excited about these conservative women or encouraging them in their overzealous activism or whatever, because it's kind of sets them up to be, I don't know, just caught up in their ego and set up to just, I don't know, it's awful. You see it regularly. And then they have a quick rise and a quick fall sometimes. There's this woman who won, I think she was an Asian winner of a Michigan or somewhere like that, Miss Michigan or something like that. And she was big on Instagram and Twitter. And then all of a sudden, I think she got kicked off entirely. I don't know what happened. But the other thing is, no, I'm not confusing it with Liz Wheeler on One American News Network. But she's another one. Yeah, I'm referring to Kathy Zhu. I don't know how you pronounce the last name. Zhu. But I was thinking about that. And then there's another lady who came on The Fallen State, Millennial Woes. She's like Asian and white mix, I think, Canadian. And she's somewhat less liberal than other women. But she came down here for a Fallen State taping to debate against this progressive black guy who's, I think, either bisexual or homosexual. Oh, roaming millennial, not Millennial Woes. Sorry, dude. Millennial Woes is a Scotsman, and he smokes, and I think he's known as the soul of the alt-right, something along those lines, right? I don't know if he's atheist or Christian or what, but I'm not referring to you. I'm referring to roaming millennial. Yeah. Now she goes by her normal name, which I'm blanking on it. But she herself is pretty liberal. She ended up, Lauren Chen. She ended up debating against Jesse along with this socialist black guy who's like either homosexual or bisexual or just openly kind of weird. It was like them two against Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh man, some of you guys thought that the Elijah Schaffer with Vosh versus Jesse was bad. This was even worse. I think. Maybe not. Because it's kind of bad for a male to be kind of wishy-washy or people-pleasing. But yeah. Roaming millennial. And people were all pumped up about her. And she had been on the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, too. And then she appeared on The Fallen State. And they end up agreeing with weird things. People were all pumped up, including me, actually, with Sarah Palin. Remember Sarah Palin? She was the governor of Alaska, a female governor of Alaska. And now she and her husband are divorcing or divorced already. Her daughter has had children out of wedlock. She's anti-abortion, her daughter is. But she's having children out of wedlock. So it's like the family is a messed up situation. She should just be tending to her home, I think, Sarah Palin. And she was picked by one of the worst anti-American cucks you can imagine. Or I don't know if he picked her, but the establishment picked her, I guess. And then they regretted it. And then they tried to blame her for it. But she was picked to be the running mate of the worst rhino, one of the worst rhinos ever, John McCain. And John McCain didn't fight to win against Obama. He fought to lose. He didn't even fight. He was a kiss-up. And thankfully, she wasn't as much of a kiss-up, and she was like a Tea Party lady. You know, she said a lot of stuff that's true, but it's not right. And then even I like this lady too, but she's like, and she's friendly with the Groypers, Michelle Malkin. She called herself their. The Groypers are them right onto her for that, but it's like something seems off with it when these women are all into this politics thing. And there's another woman I really like, Michelle Bachmann. Anytime that I used to hear her on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and I heard her speak too, solidly pro-Trump and stuff like that. Christian, conservative lady, but it just doesn't seem so right. It doesn't seem right. So I don't think that we should be. It's kind of like there was a caller who called into my show, and I guess I'm kind of preaching to the choir here because a lot of you guys know this stuff. But anytime there's a POC or a minority or a woman or sometimes for some people, gay conservative or gay Republican who's pro-Trump or anti-liberal, people get all excited. Is there buffering? If there's buffering, press 2 if buffering is bad, and you probably can't hear me. If it's kind of buffering a little bit, press 3. If it's fine, press 1. Oh, its stream went out. Connecting, reconnecting. Okay, looks like we're getting back on air. Okay, we are back, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, the stream went out briefly. You should be back. Entirely new Periscope stream. Okay, we're back. Internet hates Hake. It's true. Or maybe it's the black tech. They're undermining the white man. So, brief point about, what's her name? Tomi Lahren. I noticed that she used that ethnic slur, Tatiana. Which is a slur I think of as a slur against black females. Because, you know, black females nowadays, they are thought of as, I mean, didn't the blacks come up with the term thought? It must have been a black term, right? It's totally a black term. And you know what's funny is back when Jesse Lee Peterson was a young adult, he went to a college over here to find a white woman because the white women were more freaky, according to what he heard. At least than the black women down in the South, according to him, right? According to him. He did manage to have a child out of wedlock, so they must not have been that pure. But anyways. So hopefully the stream is good. Press 1 if the stream is good now. Apologies. We don't know what happened. Maybe Joel and the other black engineer are fixing it. But yeah, I don't think that I think now, like, well, maybe the city black females were like that. That's my guess, even from those days, because the city is where you go to get corrupt. Traditionally, right? Traditionally, that's where the corruption is. And even to this day, you look at the cities, that's where the gays go. If they don't go to San Francisco or Atlanta or New York City, they'll go into LA or, oh yeah, West Hollywood. Who am I kidding? But they go to the cities where there's more population, there's more degeneracy, there's more likely to run into fellow homosexuals. It's sick. So it's very interesting. Maybe that's partly why they attack and smear the South. And you'll see movies like this where they just attack small towns as being a world unto themselves, and they get away with doing all these wrong things because there's no federal government to oversee what they're doing. Yeah, right. The federal government is part of the corrupting influence in many cases. Or the state level is very corrupting. So it's so sick. I forget what that had to do with, oh, yeah, finding the females. But yeah, this Tatiana thing, if she's having sex out of wedlock, I don't know if she is or not, and I don't want to speculate, but doesn't that make her a thought Aaron? Because, you know, we whites don't like, or at least I, as a white man, don't like them using this Karen thing at every white woman, because sometimes the Karens are saying something right. Actually, I think that they're usually saying something that's true or right, and they're just getting harassed for it. But partly it's because women should be kind of a little bit more quiet. So it's kind of wrong people versus wrong people. You know what I mean? Chris says it's the non-white Karens that you got to look out for. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Yeah, that's true. The people crying Karen are usually like either homosexuals or far left black females or female-minded liberals who are just, or RINOs, right? Just every bit as meddling and judgmental and nasty as the people that they're, the white females that they're judging. Maybe worse in most cases. You know what I mean? Like the Central Park Karen lady, right? The Central Park Karen who freaked out when the black guy tried to coax her dog to him, or scare her anyways. They judged her way worse than and tried to punish her way worse than. Yeah, she called the cops and said that he's threatening my life, but she didn't know what was going on. Anyways, I'm happy that, by the way, I'll just remind you, you probably know, Yeah, she overreacted, but the guy was acting weird. And then on top of that, the lynch mob was way out of line and over the top against her. They overreacted against her. So it's just a vicious circle. And these times, it does seem like, even with friends and family members, I think, it seems like people are stressed and not handling it right. And people are just killing each other in some cases more frequently. And plus, the attack on cops and the Black Lives Matter idiots are not helping the situation, nor is the caving to them helping. Concern trolls is a good term for it, yeah. Anyways, let me get to some calls. I want to read a few super chats. Joe Maddock gave a diamond and said, Tomi Lahren is for abortion. She doesn't know truth. Yeah. Noah's Ark, Kansas with a couple of diamonds. Daryl Wayne gave a diamond and said, Tomi Lahren attracts trash. Yeah. Not to be malicious towards her, but she was calling the men trash, but she's trash herself. Look at that personality. I don't think she's conscious of how conceited she comes off. Or I don't think that she would come off that way. It's sometimes shocking how women are like that. Certain women. Evgeny Crosby 2020 says, Tomi is looking for a beta male to control, a.k.a. Hake. Whoa. But thank you for the diamond. I'll take it. Hey. But no, I don't think I would. I think that I would, I would rebel. I would rebel. Anyways, thank you to Jesse Lee Peterson for hosting my show. And thank you to Dark Side of the Bear as well. Let me just make sure that I log into Streamlabs. But I want to get to some of you guys' conversations about this stuff. You know what? First, let me get to... Let me get to Alex, first-time caller in Michigan. He wants to talk about his experience at art college. Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How's it going, Hake?
Going well? What's up?
Hey. Oh, hey. So, yeah, I just called in. I wanted to tell you a quick story about me in art college. I go and I do kind of like digital,
Real quick, Alex, did you hear about the Tomi Lahren thing?
Yeah, I watched it over from Jesse's show.
Yeah, I was listening to it yesterday too. I was in the office and I was hearing Jesse Lee Peterson listening to it.
Uh-huh.
And what did you think of it?
Oh yeah. So yeah, first I think first you have to understand like how women and men are, and especially where their ego is at the given time. And it sounds like with all her success and everything else that's come and followed, she's got her head's definitely in a different place than it would be if she was ready to be like a wife or a mother. Yeah,
that's true.
She definitely has to take a step back, I think. And whoever she's dating, probably, they have expectations coming in, especially with somebody who's kind of famous and has a repertoire.
Are you on speakerphone, Alex, or Bluetooth or something?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not on my phone, but I can speak closer to the phone.
Yeah, stay close to your phone and stay still.
Yeah. But yeah, so pretty much I think she's in a different mindset.
Yeah, I think you're right. And ever since I've seen her as a host, she's had this sassy, know-it-all type of an attitude that I feel like conservatives put up.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like conservatives put up with it, and the liberals hated it because they could see that, but they also hated the truth that she was saying, and so they just doubly hated her. And I remember she appeared on that guy who replaced Jon Stewart, The Late Show or something like that, and he tried to get her, and they hate her. The liberals hate her.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
and so now I think that the men are seeing, if they didn't see it already, they see that nastiness, that nasty side of her that I think the liberals already kind of knew about. Because when you're hate watching somebody, you can pick out all their weaknesses. So, anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Not that you can see your own self, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. She's just kind of blinded by where she's at. You know, she thinks that she needs to get somebody that's as successful as her or more successful. You know, and maybe that is what's best for her. But I'm not to say because I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, she's kind of. I know that there are a lot of females out there who are planners. Like she wanted to make a plan. She even clapped like a Tatiana. I'm just kidding. But you know how black women clap. You don't
I do
have
agree
to
with
do.
Jesse, though. I think she just needs to take a step back and just kind of, take notes for, I don't know, I think it might have been somebody else that said it, but take notes from Tatiana.
Yeah. Anyways, you wanted to talk about your experience in art college?
Oh, yeah. So I just had a quick story. So I just go to art school, and whenever I'm doing projects, I'll go to my professors, and they always give, strict, bullet point guidelines as to things I have to follow. A lot of it has to do with diversity, or
oh man,
it has to be related to LGBT, or it has to be woman. And it's like, first of all,
what type of art was it you were doing?
So I do digital graphics,
okay,
so animated graphics and things like that.
Related to marketing?
Because I'm still into it.
Related to marketing, or was it more like?
Yeah, it's more like advertising.
Okay,
but yeah.
All right.
Yep. But they always have these bullet points of things, and it's like you got to hit this and that, and it's got to be this kind of family, and it first of all, it's never straight white, conservative,
right?
Ever, just because it's a liberal school. But I don't know, maybe it's just my personality, but I always question things.
Yes.
Because it's like, well, the majority of people that we're marketing to are, especially in America, is straight white people. Like, I don't know why nobody's trying to take advantage of that market and help them.
That's a good point. Yeah, and you know what? You know what? Those ones, the ones that do that, even a little bit, they do pretty well. Like Duck Dynasty was doing well. And Chick-fil-A was doing all right, and
well, yeah, Chick-fil-A did have that moment of
for a little while, right?
Took a knee, yeah. For a while, yeah, they were on the right path, I think.
Even if they
were really liked by their people.
Even if they pretend to be doing it, like remember Roseanne? She had that reboot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that she had like a transgender, mixed race grandchild or something like that in the TV show.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know. I haven't looked into that, but for sure there is a market and it's untapped, but it sounds like they're just repeating the stuff that the people in control, because these LG
that's exactly
radicals have been going in.
They're trying to push their narrative, yeah. They're trying to, tell you, hey, this is what you need to be marketing to. This is where, the market's going. And it's like, well, but that's not reality. Where are we right now?
Yeah, that's true. They are trying to influence. It's more than just reflecting the degenerate culture. They are pushing the degenerate culture, for sure.
Yeah, but, yeah. My professors, they'll tell me, like, hey, you can't do that. People won't like it, or you'll get canceled. And, they actually say these things. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, dude,
so much
nobody should care about that.
So much for art challenging society, right? It's going right along with it.
Or minority, too, because I'm a conservative artist.
Right.
Most are liberal, yeah.
Yep. Anyways, that's interesting, man. You're still You're still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah, am I breaking out? We're breaking out.
No, I was talking about at the school that you were going to.
Yeah, I don't want to get into specifics.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to. All right. Well, I appreciate the input. I hadn't really considered that aspect of it, but I went to a Christian school and I studied art with supposedly Christian school. It's like off the deep end, pro LGBT, kissing up to blacks. Yeah, and I think that a lot of these private schools that you may send your child to, or your adult son or daughter to now, is not really recommended. These people are, because they're kissing up every bit as much, maybe not every bit as much, but they're kissing up to the culture. The angry blacks they're kissing up to, for sure. The LGBTQIA stuff, they're able to push the Christians around because, I don't know, they get into, if there's a homosexual in the family, or homosexuals at these schools, they just push that they push you on that fake Christian niceness, and so you have to go along with them. Otherwise, you're not loving. It's
that's
so
the
gay.
thing is they get this thought in the back of their head that's like, oh, this is what's being nice and things like that. And it's like, no, standing your ground, being a good example. Obviously, that's like the best thing you can do.
Yeah. Are you working while you're over there?
What's that?
Are you working while you're over there?
Yeah. Where I was working is like permanently closed right now.
Oh, man.
So I'm just waiting for that to fix. Michigan's pretty bad with opening and their rules.
I know people who've run their own businesses though as designers and things like that. So maybe you could get into that.
That's where I'm going to have to go.
Right.
as soon as I get my degree and all that.
All right.
Or maybe even before. So that's my plan. So
Well, good luck, Alex. Appreciate the info.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
All right. Take care. There's a lot of people who want to talk about Tomi Lahren, and then one guy wants to talk about Ben Sasse. Ben Sasse being the RINO, the never Trumper. And somebody wants to make a couple of statements in defense of him. But first, let me get to T in Alabama. Wants to talk about Tomi Lahren. T, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine as well. Thanks for calling.
Can you hear me okay?
It's a little muffled. Stay close to your phone if you can.
Okay, how about now?
Much better.
All right. Let me just say this. In regards to the Tomi Lahren, or whatever her name is, yeah, I agree with what she said. Okay. My question is this, man.
What did she say in short that you agree with?
Well, I mean, that
a couple of points.
Men are weak. Well, men need to step up. Okay.
But she didn't say that men are weak and need to step up. And what do you mean by step up? Say something like specific that she said.
Well, I mean, I can't remember exactly what I said, but just from what I remember about the conversation, man, she just basically had said, "Look, guys, y'all need to step up, be men, stop being wimps. Okay, stop being afraid of women, like most, like you guys on Jesse's show."
But she didn't say anything to that. She didn't really say anything to that effect. She didn't say that they're afraid of women.
Well, that's my interpretation. Okay?
Yeah, because she talked about.
Okay.
The complaints that I heard, and I didn't listen to the whole thing, but what I heard was, make sure that you're not already dating another woman when you're asking me out. And that's one thing that she said. And then second one that she said was, make a plan to meet with me a day or 2 or 3 in advance. Make a plan. Don't call me last minute and expect me to be spontaneous.
Yeah, I mean, the premise of the whole conversation.
What did she have any good points? To the effect of be a man, don't be afraid of women? Because that sounds like she just wants men to obey her.
No, that ain't the point. Okay.
Because if she said that men are weak.
Can we have a conversation?
Yes,
but being like Jesse, man. I mean,
yes, then be quiet.
I know he.
Hang on, T. He just wants to complain about Jesse. What the heck? I'm trying to get my. Hey T. Hey T.
Yeah.
If she had said men are weak, then I would have been like, oh, you know what? She kind of has a point. She's being nasty about it, but she has a point. But she didn't say men are weak.
Okay. Well, maybe I heard.
She didn't say that men are afraid of women. I didn't hear that.
Okay.
Did she?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, you guys. Okay. My point is really about you guys. Okay. You and the rest of your crew, including the 80-year-old man that hadn't had a relationship, he said, in about 50 years. So he's an expert on relationship and marriages. Which don't make no
If you want to talk about Jesse, talk to Jesse, man.
Well,
don't be putting your side comments. Don't be putting your side comments like a female against Jesse.
You an extension of Jesse, man. Because you go along.
No, you can talk to Jesse about Jesse.
Oh, you know good and too well, man. Jesse don't like talking to me when it come down to that. He couldn't have.
Yeah, he can talk to you, but you just okay. I don't know. You act. It's kind of tiring and boring to Jesse, and it's.
Well, yeah. Well,
even Earl is more interesting than you. T. Earl.
Look, I'm not trying to listen, man. I'm not trying to.
To me.
your friend or Jesse's friend, okay?
I know that.
I mean, seriously. You know,
I know that because you're not an honest person.
Your niceties and all this.
Because you're not an honest person, T.
No, I'm real honest.
No,
That's
you're
the
not.
problem. Y'all can't handle it. Y'all want folks to kiss up to you.
No, you're not
See,
honest.
that's your problem. You want folks to tell you how great
No.
Jesse.
Come on, T.
You know, but my point is this, Joy. Whatever your name is.
Yeah.
James, that's your name? Okay. But anyway, my point is this. Y'all sit around and y'all bash women. Y'all want dumb, stupid women. Okay? Y'all want cave women, basically, what y'all want. Okay? Y'all want females that just live in a cave, can't read, can't write, can't think for themselves, and just sit back in the
Joel's
kitchen.
nodding.
Sit back in the kitchen, cook, and have babies. Don't ask no questions. That's y'all philosophy, man.
Have you heard? T? Have you heard any of the beautiful ladies who call into the show and with their beautiful spirits and talk in church and they're getting it?
They want so
and they're
much
getting
like
it.
Jesse.
Does that sound like cave women to you? You sound like a cave woman.
Yeah,
you sound more like a cave woman than them.
No, listen, man.
Have you noticed that?
Those females that call in.
Oh, you're calling them
listen to
females.
Jesse.
What the heck?
Yeah, those females that call in.
You can't say
that
females.
agree
That's a
with Jesse.
slur.
They want
Only
so
I can
much
say
to
females.
like. They want so much for Jesse to like them. They're afraid to say what they truly feel.
And why
And
would
that's
they?
sad.
Why would they want Jesse to like them?
I don't know, really, because he don't. For a man.
Because
that
Jesse's such a
puts down
likable
women,
man.
Jesse's a nut, man. He's a hypocrite. He's a
Whatever.
He a man.
If you're gonna get back on track, then I won't hang up on you. But if you're gonna get off on talking about Jesse yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, man, I just want to say, regardless.
So
of what
you
the
agree
lady was
with
saying,
the white Theron?
Yeah, I agree with the female.
Tomi Lahren?
Okay, it's not about a color thing. It's not about a color thing, man. There's a bunch of weak men out there. A lot of them.
I know. You're right. It's not about color. It's about good versus evil, and you're on the side of evil.
Yeah.
You're kind of a sucker for evil, and you're turning.
There you go.
T,
There you go.
Have you noticed that you're turning like nasty? You're turning nastier than ever.
No. Just because I'm just telling the truth, man. Y'all hate that.
Randy says T is
Who the hell is Randy?
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, Randy probably one of them weak men that
No, that's not. Nope. Randy Bobandy is not a weak man.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah, anybody that agrees with Jesse's philosophy and yours is weak, man.
All right.
Yeah, y'all a bunch of,
Consider the source.
females.
I got to go, T.
Serious, man. All right. Well, hey, one quick question. Man.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask your boy, Joel?
Joel Friday
And
here. He's not at the mic, though.
Okay, but Joel, the Mexican dude, whatever his name, and the white boy, okay?
That's white man
Ask
to you.
him.
White man to you.
Oh, okay, white man. Well, he a white boy, okay?
Wow.
But anyway,
White man, T, it's white man.
I'm going to ask y'all, okay? Do you guys have sex out of wedlock?
Gross.
Any of you guys having sexual relationship with anybody?
That's a personal question. Inappropriate, T.
Oh, it is?
I'll speak for
You're
myself.
crazy. I mean, it's just a yes or no question.
I'll
man.
speak for myself, and
Yeah,
I'm not
okay,
having
speak
sex
for
out of
yourself.
wedlock, T.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
This is Chris T. This is Chris, the white man.
Okay, yeah, the white boy? Okay,
Yeah, the white man. I have. I currently am not.
Hey,
Okay.
T. Hey, T.
Yes,
Hey, T. Do you like it when
Yes,
white
sir.
people call you boy?
It don't bother me, man. It don't bother me.
Do you like it?
I'm a different type of brother.
You said it don't bother you, but do you like it?
No, it don't bother me.
Do you like it?
I'm a man, Joe.
Do you like it?
I'm a man.
Do you like
Do
it?
I like it?
Yeah.
I don't dislike it.
Do
How
you
about that?
like it? Do you like the Latin people? Do you take it as a sign of respect when people call you boy?
No, people don't call me boy. That's the thing.
Oh. So do you consider it a sign of respect when you call the white man a white boy?
Okay.
Are you being respectful?
Hey, I'm just telling you what it is, man.
Oh, okay, man.
Okay, I mean, you know,
Okay,
if he can sit here and, you know,
So are you glad to hear that? Are you glad to hear that they don't have sex out of wedlock?
Yeah, why do you ask?
Yeah, it's good to hear that lie. Okay.
Wow.
I'm not
Yeah,
lying.
it's
nasty
good
woman.
to hear that lie.
Salty.
Such a nasty woman.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I'm quite sure if that what's her name, the female we were just talking about. I'm quite sure if she came approach either one of those brothers, probably you too, man.
They
know?
turn her down. They turn her down. You just hear
Oh,
that
yeah?
mouth because she can't stop opening her mouth, and that undermines.
Okay.
Oh,
So Joel,
Yeah.
you would turn her down, right, Joel?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
On
I
the
hear you
spot.
talk.
plus
And,
she's a Christian lady. She wouldn't do
Okay.
that. Which
And let me say this to the white man, okay?
Oh, yes.
You would turn
white
her
man?
down too,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Yeah, the
yes.
white man.
Correct, T.
Yeah,
I
I'm
would.
gonna give you your respect. Okay?
Oh, thank you, T.
The white man.
Thank you.
Right on.
Yeah, you're
All right.
correct. I would turn her down. Yes.
You would turn
If she
her down.
propositioned
Okay.
me for sex, yes.
Okay. Interesting, man. Okay.
which she
well, that's
wouldn't
good
do
stuff.
because she's not a Tatiana.
Yeah.
Anyways, T, nice talking with you, I guess.
Yeah, same here, man.
Right
And
on.
Pierre, Rand, or whoever that
But
guy
you got to
is.
check your attitude, man. You're getting worse.
Nice. Look, brother. I'm fine.
But
Fine.
don't you notice that you're
but y'all-
getting
y'all guys
nastier?
just ridiculous, man.
You're getting nastier, though.
Well, cause y'all getting stupid. Okay.
All right.
I mean, that's,
I know, but that's not a reason to be nasty.
Well, I mean,
Nastiness
just
doesn't
going
win.
along
That's
with y'all.
loserdom. You know what I
Well,
mean?
y'all stop being so stupid in your comments, man.
We can be
tell
stupid.
the
You don't
truth,
have to be
man.
nasty. Anyways, appreciate it, T.
Yeah,
Take care.
All right, have a good one, man.
All right.
Later.
You too. Let me quickly get to Richard in North Carolina. Richard, been on hold for some time now. Richard, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Hey.
here. Sorry, my phone was acting up. Hey, poor T. I mean, I think he's a beta for life. He probably had his balls probably shriveled up and fell off.
Whoa. This is a family show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's probably just he's lost his.
You wanted to talk about Tomi Lahren?
Yeah. Well, when I knew Tomi was pro-abortion, I kind of questioned her.
Yeah, she got
And
let go
I'm-
of Blaze
and-
TV for that back in 2017. She appeared on The View.
Yeah.
On The View with
Blaze-
those cackling
Blaze
hens.
Blaze was started by who? I forget.
Glenn Beck. The great
Glenn's not in control
Glenn Beck.
anymore, is he?
I don't know if it even exists. I know that Blaze TV, he's not really in control of that. That's merged with
Well, you're talking about
CRTV.
Lauren Chen, and did you say you don't like her anymore, or she surprised you? when she
I was, I liked her, but I wasn't really. I don't get pumped up about these so-called conservative women, and it turned out that
me
she's
neither.
pro-gay and she's a Christian, I think.
Oh, I know she's pro-gay. Yeah, she's part of the what I call the outrage. She's living off the outrage, even though she's supposedly supposed to be on the right. She's still part of the outrage culture.
Oh,
And she likes. You look at her typical.
I mean,
show,
I
and
just
it's
think that
entertaining
she's
for
kind
about 5 minutes.
like it's in her name, millennial, right? Some roaming millennial.
Roaming millennial.
Yeah, she's
she's
not
with
on a
Blaze.
solid foundation at this point.
Yeah, she's on. Well, she's with Blaze. That's why Blaze is paying for her show. So
Well, I mean, that
she
doesn't
go
mean
after
that
them.
that doesn't define whether she has a foundation or not.
Oh no. But what I'm trying to say is that she just says what I think. I'm not trying to say says what Blaze says to say, but you know what I'm trying to say is that she's more of a, she has to watch what she says.
Well, I guess that outlet is kind of safe, but even people who watch what they say, they don't start being pro-homosexual. I think that she really is that confused.
Well, you can
Maybe
tell me I
she's
don't watch
dishonest
it.
too. Maybe she's dishonest, but I don't know.
I'm pretty honest. That's why I probably said what I said. I didn't mean to say it, but it just I don't like it when people attack Jesse like that. That's all. It's just,
Oh, you're referring to T?
Yeah, T doesn't make me mad, but T just is a problem with America today. A lot of men that just just don't like men who they know are better than them.
I think I think there's a issue going on where each side or each individual is sitting around judging the next one and not really checking themselves, and they may be right about the other person, but they're not looking at themselves.
Well, I know I have faults, and I try to fix them, but it just keeps on going on. You think eventually T would learn something from Jesse or you, and at least get better, not worse.
There are people who like Jesse, who agree with Jesse. They've been coming to church a long time. They tell their friends about them, about Bond and Jesse Lee Peterson and the stuff the true principles that he pushes. People who like Jesse, even they sometimes seemingly never change or get over their own stuff. So it's not just the enemies of Jesse, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. But I was going to say one last thing about Tomi, that she's the reason why men sometimes don't want to have anything to do with women.
Yeah, it's a vicious circle. Because I thought that she was going to be... I thought she was going to be right in some of the stuff that she was saying against men.
Me too.
Maybe she was.
Hoping.
But it just turned out that her criticisms were off because she's not right herself.
It's called the sexodose. Men that don't want anything to do with women because they're tired of dealing with their craziness and their emotions.
I wonder what the MGTOW people would say about her. I'm sure it wouldn't be pleasant.
Well, I listen to some MGTOW and the fact that she's pro-abortion.
Right.
They don't like her just based on that. And the people are MRAs, absolutely. They love her, and then they go around and then they'll bash her when she goes pro-abortion.
I'm not familiar with what the MRA people have been saying. The men's rights activists. I know I'm familiar with them, but I don't know. I don't really keep up with what they say.
Men are just tired of feminists in its entirety because they feel like they're being pushed around all the time by women.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy.
Jesse. MRAs love Jesse. I mean, that's where I got Jesse from, was an MRA.
Right on.
Looking up random MRAs, and they love Jesse because he tells the truth about women. So
yeah, the ones that I've seen in, for example, the movie The Red Pill, the documentary The Red Pill, they just want to get along. They want to get along with the women and the feminists, but the feminists hate them. If anything, they're too weak towards the feminists. Really.
I'll just say one thing though, about the late Herman Cain. He's the one that red pilled me.
Oh, really?
When I was in my 20s. Yeah, I was already kind of concerned, but when I thought, here's a black man that can do, look how successful he is. If he can do it, then as a white man, I can do the same thing.
Interesting. That's a nice story.
When I heard he passed, I was thinking, it's like, one of my mentors, I didn't get to say, I wanted to say hi. I wanted, when he was on that Newsmax thing, I wanted to, I think it was a radio show. I wanted to call and tell him how much I appreciate him changing my life.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a radio show for some time, even before he signed on with Newsmax.
I can't find him. Sometimes, unlike you and Jesse, I can't find people's podcasts.
Okay.
You know that? When they're active and live, they're harder to find, like
Interesting.
Dan Bongino and Larry Elder. So
yeah.
I'd love to get on Larry Elder's show as a call-in, because he's another guy I follow.
I've gotten on air on his show before.
Oh, have you been on Larry's show?
I called into his show when I think he was talking about Obamacare. Larry Elder, the black dude, he was talking about, I think it was Obamacare, and they were talking about, or he was listing the about smokers, right? Smokers, they discriminate against the smokers, and I'm like, so I called in. I was on hold for some time. I'm like, if they're they want to discriminate against smokers, isn't homosexuality even more harmful to your health? shouldn't that be a discrimination point? And he's all, you know how, especially with male homosexuality, it has all kinds of risks associated with it because they're so out of control with it.
The funny thing, and last thing I want to say before I leave, that my uncle Tom was a radio show host at about the same time in the Cleveland, Cincinnati area, and I wonder if they knew each other. Because,
interesting.
They probably ran, and I got to ask him, because if he still knows Larry, I want to see if I can make a connection with Larry then, because Larry's a hero of mine. I always look up to him. So
cool, Richard. Well, take care, man.
So anyhow, Jim, you take care now. Happy Men's History Month.
You as well. Happy Men's History Month.
Thank you.
Before I get to Pierce and Art and the rest of you guys, hang tight, guys. I want to talk about the death that's going on. Because we have this COVID stuff that's bringing death, and I think that it's bringing death more because of the shutdowns and mismanagement on the part of the liberals. People are saying there's this whole media narrative that Trump is botching it. They use this term botched. And the media is telling the people. And so, of course, 2/3 of Americans supposedly believe that Trump has botched the handling of the coronavirus as if it should be on him when he wants, it only makes sense for the local people to control locally what's going on, but they don't. And there are also the Black Lives Matter riots. And in general, there's economic strain for many people. Economic strain. And then there's just the total degeneracy that's been promoted so that young people are out of control. Well, in Kansas City, what is that, Missouri? Kansas City's east side, this was at a gas station at some point, maybe this month, maybe last month. 2 customers began exchanging hard stares near the angry stares near the pumps, the gas pumps outside. That's petrol for those of you who are overseas, right? And no one can explain exactly why. And I don't know whether these were black or white. I'm just curious, because I guess I could see some white guys getting mad at each other, but I don't see them escalating to the point of drawing a weapon. But whatever. They started arguing. It escalated quickly. One of them pulled a gun, and they struggled over it. One of them was married somehow. So that makes me wonder who it was, because they didn't really define it. This is from the New York Times, right? New York Times, very liberal. They don't tell you the race if it's black. And they only tell you that it's white if they have an agenda to push this thing. But the wife of one of the men pleaded, stepping in between them. Somebody got shot. They didn't even say who got shot and killed. Somebody got killed in this confrontation. And they're casting that as typical of the type of violence that is spiking. They're saying it's not necessarily gang violence. It is people just on edge, freaking out. And I'm very leery of that characterization that they're presenting, right? They're giving that hint that it's like that. But I think that we've seen, Democrat-run cities, black cities, or Hispanic too, areas where they have lots of crime, they're out of control, and the police are soft on the crime, thanks in part to the police chiefs and the mayors and the city councils and the governors. They're just sick people who kiss up and feel sorry and all that stuff. The Daily Mail reports women are reporting an increase of threatening stares amid the COVID pandemic, referring to masked men staring in a threatening way. Stupid women. They feel like they act like they're they act like they're mind readers or something like that. It's so ridiculous. So across 20 major cities, the murder rate at the end of June was on average 37% higher than it was at the end of May, according to Richard Rosenfeld, criminologist, dishonest, at the University of Missouri in St. Louis. The increase over the same period a year ago was just 6%. But maybe that's because May was extraordinarily low, maybe. But, yeah, I mean, look at these. If females are thinking like that, and that there's males with that female mindset where they, blacks in general, they're like, oh, this was racism. And somebody who was with them who's not black or not thinking in that way is like, huh? I could tell by the way they were looking at me. Whatever. That's like a female mindset, thinking that you can mind read people, when in reality you're probably misreading. And you don't need to concern yourself with it anyways, even if it was true. Kansas City is on pace to shatter its record for homicides in a year. And that's even higher than the crack epidemic, which was, when all the blacks were on crack and the gangs were selling drugs and shooting each other like crazy during the early 90s and maybe late 80s. It was called the crack epidemic. And that's when Hillary Clinton talked about super predators, no conscience, no empathy, because these people were killing each other like crazy. The murder rates were double and triple what they were. There could be over 1,000 murders in a city in a year. And she was right. She was not wrong about that super predators thing, by the way. She wasn't referring to all blacks. She was referring to the black criminals, the black predators, super predators. Anyways, so I had no problem with her on that. She just doesn't tell the truth anymore. It's kind of like Joe Biden sometimes slips up and tells the truth because he's been around throughout that time. And I love how President Trump, he too thrived even during those days in New York. That's one of the toughest cities, both with the mob and with the violent crime. I couldn't blame him for pulling out a full-page ad in defense of the Central Park jogger who almost died, this woman in the early 90s. The Central Park Five, these 5 guys who were out with mobs of black and Hispanic kids wilding. It was called wilding. And they would beat people up, steal bikes, beat people with pipes, commit rapes and robberies and all murders in some cases. Young people. Young, wild people. And so these young, like teenage, in some cases they were not very young teenage, males, black Hispanic males would do this stuff, and they admitted to this crime. And he took out a full-page ad. Somebody who does this deserves the death penalty. And they called it racism. Because it was a crazy crime. This woman didn't even remember. She lost so much blood, she almost died. And she didn't even remember what happened. It's crazy. But people call it racism, and they were innocent, and they were forced to admit. There was no evidence of a forced confession, but they just had to say it, and now they're making movies about them being forced to confess. But the crime, he lived and thrived and grew his empire, if you will, his real estate business and improving New York throughout that worst time with crime way out of control. And he was thriving. And so you think a little shooting outside the White House is going to rattle him? I don't think so. He's solid. And he's not like the Democrats that are just fake. You know, they fake like they're tough, but then they can't face or handle anything or tell the truth about anything. So anyways, Kansas City, 122 people have been killed this year after 6 new deaths over this past weekend. And that's compared with 90 through the same time last year. So 122 this year, 90 last year. And the city is well on its way, according to the New York Slimes, to surpassing its grim record of 153 murders in 1993. It must be a smaller city, Kansas City, Missouri, huh? Because that's not that many murders. In New York City, it was like over 1,000 murders, I think. Same thing with Los Angeles. It was like 800, 900 murders in a year. Now it's down to like 300 or so, give or take. And so the murders have gone down, but the degeneracy has not subsided. So the symptoms are just changing. It's not the evil is subsiding. The symptoms are just changing. Evil has subsided a little bit because the cops were allowed to do this broken windows policing, crack down on even smaller crimes, and that diminishes bigger crimes. Anyways, by the end of July, the city had matched the number of non-fatal shootings, 490, that it had all of last year. They've killed a pregnant woman pushing a stroller, a 4-year-old boy who was asleep in his grandmother's home. I think that was legend. Legend. L-E, capital G, capital L, lowercase e, capital G, lowercase E-N-D. And Trump's made Operation Legend. And he named that after this 4-year-old boy who was killed in his sleep. I think he was shot in the face. Crazy. Black kid, cute little black kid, dead. Teenage girl sitting in their car, she got killed. Trump has sent federal law enforcement agents to at least 6 cities in an attempt to intervene. He cast it as, rightly, as Democrat-run cities, which, you know, the dumb people in these cities have voted for them. So I think it may be people on edge due to COVID. I feel like I sensed it. Maybe it's just my imagination, you know? Like, for example, when I made fun of a friend of mine who posted on Blackout Tuesday last month or something like that, he posted a black square on Instagram in honor of Black Lives Matter. And this guy's like an Americanized Mexican, and he's supposed to be an independent thinker and punk rock and all that stuff. And so I just LOL'd at it, and he blocked me. So it just made me think, this guy is maybe under stress, and he has a liberal girlfriend, and he's probably, his job situation is probably different right now. Maybe because of COVID, people are just on edge. Plus, evil is really unmasked right now. And I remember with Obama, I was kind of freaking out against Obama. So maybe these liberals are freaking out against Trump. And not to mention the radical Black Lives Matter riots and nastiness. It's just an evil world right now. So it just doesn't take hardly anything to push somebody over the edge, and then you lose a friendship. Or I don't know if I've lost a friendship, but I haven't followed up because I'm just, whatever. Let the female have her hissy fit on her own. She'll come back when she's ready. Except this is a male friend, but the same principle applies, right? I remember an uncle of mine, an aunt of mine, not an uncle that you're thinking, any family that's watching, but an uncle of mine, the aunt, had this minor fit against what we don't know, but she went up off to her room, and one of the children is like, aren't you going to follow her? And he's like, he just waved her off. Let them have their fit. You don't cater and chase and stuff like that. Anyways, so it may be due to this on edge due to COVID shutdowns, joblessness, people's freedoms being taken away. Trump has rightly pointed out the Democrat-led cities, Black Lives Matter riots, hamstrung police, attack on any real authority. They hate real authority. You notice that? They hate Trump. They hate men who are acting like a real authority. They hate cops who are trying to act in a position of authority. Murders are up 30% in New York State. State or city, they don't say. Murders are up 30% over last year in New York. City and police officials have tried to lay blame on a new law that lets many defendants go free without posting bond, as well as on the coronavirus-related mass release of people going to jail. But according to New York Slimes, evidence shows that a steep decline in gun arrests beginning in mid-May was more likely a cause. And what happened in mid-May? Was that when they got rid of the plainclothes police? Remember when they got rid of the 600, going after there were these plainclothes officers who were going after, I think maybe drugs, but also guns, stop and frisk. These are stop and frisk cops. Decline in gun arrests. Interesting, huh? So it looks like to me that the New York Slimes, hat tip to Mark Levin, are saying, oh, it's the guns. It's the gun arrests. It's guns. But no, it's stop and frisk. Stop and frisk, a decline in stop and frisk, right? And then they take the guns away from these guys that shouldn't even have guns because they're criminals. Anyways, just an interesting side note, I think. And yes, I'm sure letting defendants, so-called, criminal suspects go free without any posting bail, that does not help. And letting criminals out of prisons, Obama was doing that, the state of California was doing that, judges' orders too. Sick. So I just wanted to point that out because it is, be careful out there. It's a mean world. Oh my gosh, we're at the top of the hour. Let me take a quick 2 to 3 minute break. Do I need a break? Yeah, let me take a quick break. I'm not Ethan Ralph. I'm not the Ralph retort. I'm not Destiny. I'm not anyways, I need to take a quick break. I'll be back in a minute. I'll read your super chats and I will take your calls and I'll talk more about some crazy news going on. Ben Sasse and all that stuff. All right, guys. I'll be right back for hour 2. Shout out to Asmodor hosting the show, as well as Dark Side of the Bear What hosting the Hake Report on DLive. You can follow me, dlive.tv/the Hake Report. And thank you to, Red Ice TV. What's it? Yes, Red Ice TV. Subscribe today. Right on. That's cool. Red Ice. Good channel. Follow them. So, real quick, let me read a few of these super chats, because HydroPX says, men can't take the chance and take advice from women. I think that's a fair statement. Especially if you listen closely. They're not giving good advice, such as Tomi Lahren. Plan. We need to plan. I know some women from college, they would get, because they're planners, they have to plan. No, you can be spontaneous. Although I do understand not wanting to go out once you're home and settled. That was one thing that Tomi Lahren said that I could kind of relate. Anyways, HydroPX gave a diamond and said, like a female T interprets things how he wants. Yeah, he's saying, oh, you guys just want cave women. What does that even mean? Joel was just nodding his head, saying, yes. You found a nice cave girl. Arizona lineman gave a diamond and said, T, were you raised by your mama? Grow up, chump. Yeah. Arizona lineman's giving you good advice, T. Joe Maddock gave a diamond and said, T is a narcissist and every call is about his ego. Interesting. HydroPX said, T like a woman lying about what he wants to talk about. Yeah. Asmodora says, T is a beta little black boy. But it don't bother T to be called a boy. I thought people didn't call you boy, T. Asmodora just called you boy. Joe Maddox says, T is overflowing with hatred. Yeah. Asmodora says, tell T he's a little black boy. Tell T I said he's a little black boy. Just did. Duly noted, Asmodora. Evgeny Crosby 2020 says, there's no such thing as a gay conservative, Hake. Yeah, that's true. But a lot of these people cast themselves as gay conservatives. And yet, like Rob Smith bragging about protesting against don't ask, don't tell, which in itself was bad. It should be ask, tell, and kick them right on out. Because we need a return to honesty. Don't ask, don't tell was a policy instituted in the 90s by Bill Clinton, the sleazy guy, very sleazy liar, evil guy, Bill Clinton. And he said, because it was a big controversy, gays in the military, right? I remember being a little kid during this time. Not that little, I was a kid though. And so to avoid the controversy, he said, we'll just have a policy of don't ask, don't tell, and we'll let you stay in here. You can come into the military, gays, just don't tell anybody. And then Obama, instead of, well, we had a George W. Bush after him, and George W. Bush, I guess he left that policy in place. What a chump, huh? What a rhino. And then Barack Obama said, no, we repeal the policy of don't ask, don't tell. And therefore, all gays and transgenders can come into the military and be openly homosexual and transgender. And we'll pay for your sex reassignment surgery and hormones and stuff like that and therapy because it's good for your mental health. It's not good for you to feel like a woman and not be taking stuff to change into a female, more female in your appearance. Evil, huh? And that was something that this guy, Rob Smith, who's a frequent guest on Fox News and I was about to say America First. He's not America First. He's a TPUSA. Yeah, Turning Point USA ambassador. So yeah, I agree with you, Evgeny. But anyways. And the reason we were talking about T being a boy, because he kept on calling Chris a white boy. And it's not, he's not doing it to be respectful, and he's not doing it, he's just doing it to be nasty. Because Jesse Lee Peterson calls everybody boy, right? Every male, grown male, boy. But he's not saying boy, he's just saying boy, because that's just how he talks. It's not to be nasty like T. So it's totally different. And that's so funny. Yeah, it's this old man, it's country talk, old man talk. Whoa. Dang, he got me to call Jesse an old man. And Jesse's going to be like, forget you. But I'll get into that later. Let me finish this because I got to get to calls. But it just reminded me of something James Baldwin said about words. Remind me to talk about something James Baldwin said about words. I think I may have made the point, but I may want to make it again. Hydro PX says, T, like most blacks, disagree with anyone they don't like. Huh. Yeah, people have said that Earl just calls in because he likes to argue. But he really likes us. What a woman. Joe Maddock gave a diamond and said, which group is at the top of the victim pyramid? Huh. Is it the 3%? I don't know. Is that what it is? 3%? What they are? I don't know. But who cares what the world is? I mean, in a sense, right? If you don't necessarily have to know the schematics of the victim world, but there are, Chris thinks that it's either blacks or the Jewish victims, the victim-minded Jews, of which there are many. And even the conservative Jewish people fall for this idea of racism, and many of them didn't like Trump, at least not at first. Some of them came around. That's nice. But, there's something wrong with this mindset of, oh, you have to remember the Holocaust. That's more important than anything in our... It's not even a religion anymore. It's like they don't even believe in the religion. They just believe in remembering the Holocaust and having this fake social justice thing going on. Pretty sick. And that victim mindset is pretty sick, and it's also spreading. It's catching. So you can't hate them, otherwise you end up like them, right? Anyways, let me quickly get to some calls. Pierce out of Sacramento, California. Been on hold forever. I hope he's still there. Pierce, how are you doing?
Hey there.
Hey.
Hi, Hake.
It's good to hear from you.
Indeed, indeed. So I'm calling to speak a word in defense of Ben Sasse.
Yeah. Let me just quickly tell the people. Let me just quickly tell the people about Ben Sasse. He was correct me if I'm wrong, he definitely acted like a never Trumper. I don't know if he called himself never Trump, but he acted like one, and he was opposed to Trump before the election, and since the election he was been criticizing and needling and kissing up to the idea of racism a lot. He was interviewed by Bill Maher, the atheist liberal Jewish guy. He's supposed to be like outspoken, politically incorrect, and all that. But he said, "Senator, I'm a house N-word," right? Because Ben Sasse is from Nebraska and talked about taking Bill Maher out to the fields to work. And he says, "I'm a house N-word." And Ben Sasse just smiled. But then later Ben Sasse is like, I should have said something or something like that. Kissing up to the idea of whites and so-called Jewish whites can't say the N-word. It's such a lie. It was funny. Yeah, it was a funny thing for Bill Maher to say, but he got in trouble for it, apologized. He had the scum of the earth on his show to kiss up to them. He had Ice Cube on. He also had that Michael Eric Dyson guy on, didn't he? Sick. So that's Ben Sasse, and he is saying America doesn't have kings, attacking Trump for having this executive order to give, to take away.
He attacked Trump?
Yeah, to take away. He attacked Trump's executive order as unconstitutional slop. He's regularly attacked.
You mean attacked him on Twitter?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do you think that I meant physically attacked Trump?
Well, it caught my attention when you said attack.
Yeah, he attacked. He's been attacking Trump ideologically for years. What do you say?
Ben Sasse, he is like okay. So you know how there's only a handful of Republicans that are worth anything. Jim Jordan, a few guys. That
I wouldn't go that far.
They'll do. Well, they carry so much water in all the congressional hearings and stuff like that. They're the only ones doing research and persecuting. Well, everybody else just gives up their time. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't even pay attention to the congressional hearings because they result in nothing. These people are do-nothing Republicans. You know how Trump calls them do-nothing Democrats?
Oh, all the meetings of Congress and stuff. That's it's very important. I mean, it's boring, but
no, it's not just boring. It's not important. Nothing results. Nothing comes from it. It only gets worse.
Well, that's due to the day and age, because normally it's
the what?
Not, so,
the day and age.
The day and age, yeah.
Normally, you have to blame the men who are there.
Yeah, no, but I mean, these things have to be enshrined with our Constitution. We have to have a Congress debating issues.
I didn't say you don't. I said that it doesn't result in anything. They do nothing but talk.
Yeah, well,
and I'm not even convinced that Jim Jordan is such a good guy. I think they're all weak.
Oh, yeah, I think he's weak, too.
I think that Trump is the only one that's even trying.
He says things that nobody said.
Okay.
Trump will say all these things. He brings them to the front for the first time ever. And Jim Jordan is one of those voices too, where he actually logically will bring up full cases against the actions and stuff, whereas nobody else will say anything.
Did any of them speak out against the attack, the unjustified attack against Representative Steve King?
Okay, now here is I hear what you're saying. Here is why.
Did any that you know of?
I called for Ben Sasse.
But before you get to Ben Sasse, and I will let you get to Ben Sasse, did any that you know of speak out against the unjustified attack on Steve King, They stripped him of his committee assignments. He would have been on the House Judiciary Committee, I think. You know, the committee that was looking over whether whether President Trump should be impeached. And now they have like the scum of the earth on those committees. So anyways, did anybody speak out against the attack, the unjustified attack on Representative Steve King from Iowa?
No. Yeah, I mean...
So they're all worthless.
I have no clue. So.
They're all worthless, in my opinion. Anyways, you wanted to defend Ben Sasse.
Yeah, because you called him a rhino, and he's the opposite of a rhino.
How so?
All the other ones are... because he's an intellectual. He's a classically...
Intellectuals are rhinos. Anyway, what?
No. But what he is where... with the language and everything and the framing of the Constitution, it took like one of those master's degrees of education, and he has that, which makes him useful for the Republicans. You know what I mean? Like he's an honest intellectual, and he's more like a little. See, when he posts against Trump and everything like that, he's just doing it to kind of the voice in the wilderness that is standing up for logic or something. And so he's doing it by himself. I know it looks like he's joining the attack, but he's always arguing principles that are not just, BS. He's arguing actual, deep matters or constitutionality and stuff like that.
But he's kissed up to the racism thing, which is nothing could be further from logic or truth or fairness.
Well, If you're trying to judge who is a righteous man, there's only.
But I'm
one.
not talking about righteousness. I'm just talking about. You talked about logic.
Yeah. No. Look.
A voice in the wilderness. Right. Trump is the only voice in the wilderness.
Yeah. And you know what I mean.
You brought up the fact that he's an intellectual. And that he has these master's degrees and stuff. It doesn't take a master's degree to know the Constitution. It just takes a simple mind, a simple man. And he's not a simple man. He tries to play fair to both sides and stuff like that. He's not.
Look, there was a special that he did.
He's not an honest person. Huh?
I believe he is an honest person. I just,
Then why would he attack? Why would he attack the single most honest man in the government, Trump? Trump is way more honest than him.
Well, I mean, he didn't attack him. He just...
Yes, he does. He's been attacking him.
Attacking?
Yes.
This is the problem with this kind of language, like when they say someone claps back and stuff like that. The hyperbole eventually replaces people's concepts of, like,
I know, but he's done nothing but undermine President Trump. And he has no courage to stand up.
That's not true. He's like
he has no courage to stand up for what's right.
He was like
who's doing the same thing as what you described? Chief Justice John Roberts, the chief rhino who's leading the Supreme Court, giving us same-sex marriage, which doesn't exist, and all of these other things.
That's totally evil. That's
same
totally
thing as Ben Sasse. Ben Sasse is no different from him.
No.
Yes.
Ben Sasse. Okay, so what Ben Sasse is doing?
What has Ben Sasse said about same-sex marriage?
Huh?
What has Ben Sasse said about same-sex marriage?
I'm not sure.
Because he has no courage. He doesn't speak up about true things that are too controversial. He's a kiss-up, a politician.
Well, I think he's a very weak Christian,
and a weak man. We shouldn't have a weak Christian and a weak man.
Part of it.
Huh?
On the intellectual part of it, which at the end of the day, you know what I mean, it has to get written somehow. He's very, very honest and...
no, he's not.
He knows all of it.
How are you falling for this intellectual stuff?
If you look at
you French?
If you look at his Twitter,
Pierce. What kind of name is that? Are you French?
No.
What's Pierce? What is Pierce?
Pierce. Like Pierce Brosnan, James Bond.
Oh, that's Anglo? You're English? Are you an Englishman?
I'm an Irishman.
I don't trust Irishmen. Are you Catholic?
Oh, no, definitely not.
What? How are you Irish and not Catholic? He was danged if he did and danged if he didn't for that one, because I was going to be like, Catholics I don't trust. But if he's Irish, all Irish are Catholic. You're betraying your own race. I'm just playing around, man.
Race or culture.
Whatever, same thing.
But no, go scroll through Ben Sasse's Twitter.
No, you just admitted. You just
His
admitted.
attacks are not evil.
No, but listen, you just admitted he's a weak Christian. And yeah, you can criticize Trump for being nice to the gays and kissing up to the gays a little bit, but Trump says what he really believes, and he's solid with it. He's unshakable with it.
Ben Sasse does too.
No.
Ben Sasse does too.
Ben Sasse believes lies, though. Ben Sasse is a kiss-up. He's a politician, a phony.
Oh, he's not a phony.
He's total phony. You just said he's an intellectual. Don't you know that? Hold on, Pierce. Don't you know that intellectuals are phonies?
Intellectuals are whatever. I mean, whatever Jesse says is always right about them. But
are you saying that because you really see that he is right about intellectuals?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, because they rationalize weakness and evil. It's not. It's better to be simple.
Yeah.
That's why I like Trump so much, that he's simple. I'll look into him. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll look into him. But he's
the Hoover Institution.
Huh?
On the Hoover Institution.
The Hoover Institute? I'm familiar with the Hoover Institute. They're kind of RINO too.
Well,
sometimes they do have some interesting factual information. I do acknowledge that, but all these Heritage and Hoover and
Democrat.
Huh?
The whole time he turns out he loves Trump.
Who's that?
The main interviewer. Peter Thiel or something like, or no, Peter Thiel's the other guy. But the main interviewer.
Is he the guy who found out the Republicans give more than Democrats?
He has like 1 million episodes with Thomas Sowell.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, yeah, man, I don't trust Ben Sasse. Trump even called him a RINO.
Yeah. All right.
Is Trump wrong about that?
Well, no, it's just, what your attitude is and everything like that is, it's not constructive.
But you can't be, but listen, but the thing is, you can't really be, sometimes it just doesn't take extra talking and being nice and not calling an attack and just saying, oh, it's just a criticism, but he's still on his side and stuff like that. Because he's really, what he's doing is...
Hey, how many people can go and sit on Congress? How many people can be the one to sit on
Look
Congress?
At AOC. You know what the heck?
Yeah, well, we got to
appreciate
what we got because we are surrounded by enemies here.
Including Sasse. Including Ben Sasse.
One of them that's not evil.
Including Ben Sasse and Jim Jordan and all of them. Well, I don't know. I don't want to be too malicious. I don't want to be overly harsh, but I just don't trust him.
No, I appreciate your hard and aggressive attitude. I love how you don't let people, especially black people, get away with anything at all. And honestly,
it's called broken windows hate. Broken windows haking.
It sounds loving, like Jesse, actually.
I appreciate that. Well, man, I appreciate it about Ben Sasse. Maybe he'll come on the radio, the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I think Jesse could handle him better than me. Because I don't think, I like how Jesse just steamrolls past all these intellectual arguments. He doesn't get sucked into them.
He'd be the head of his wife, but what's the other one that gets screwed up on?
Ben Sasse would claim to be the head of his wife. He'd be lying, though, right?
I think, no, because he's like from Kansas or something.
Oh, come on.
He's pretty simple.
I know, but I was reading a New York Times article yesterday to you guys, and that was from Iowa. It was Iowa. And, the women were quiet, but the men were thinking Trump is not a Christian. And what the heck? That's not man thinking. Chris thinks that Ben Sasse calls his wife his partner.
No.
I guess we'll find out if he ever comes on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I mean, I might invite him on the Hake Report, but I think a Jesse Lee Peterson interview would be great.
Yeah, no, he'd be the head of his wife, but he would
still sin.
Would slip up on the racism, but he probably agree with Jesse. I think he'd do good. I think he'd do all right for someone who I don't believe sees the light. You know what I mean?
Well, very interesting, Pierce. Appreciate the call. Call again.
Yep.
Take care, man. Oh, man. Okay. But good question, Joe Maddock, about which group is at the top of the victim pyramid. I don't know. I mean, they want to be all intersectional. Probably the black, female, mixed race, Jewish, Hispanic, lesbian, transgenders. Maybe. Even then, I don't know. The top of the dung pile. Who cares, right? Let me quickly get to Art in Ohio. He wants to respond to T. I kind of want to move on from T, but let me quickly get to Art and let him get it off his chest out of Ohio. Art, how you doing?
Oh, it's first and foremost, I'm all right. How you doing, man?
Doing fine. It's good to hear from you.
All right. Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to get to, and then I'm going to get to T, because I ain't trying to really get on him all like that.
All right.
Long story short, the lady that y'all was talking about who was
Tomi
talking
Lahren?
about that. Yeah, bam. Here, okay, first and foremost.
She was talking about men being trash?
Yeah, all that stuff she trying to downplay, man, or whatever. What these liberal, educated, strong black feminists, communists do. Long story short, okay. Well, they were raised by females. You see what I'm saying? Just like she was raised by a female, and the female can't raise what she wants. You see what I'm saying? So she ain't nothing. She just, like I say, they chasing their tail. She's a hypocrite. Because she calling us betas, or we ain't men, or we just trash and this and that. But we were raised by the same trash women who raised you. So long story short, then I get into you. I'm listening to you. You trying to go in on Jim Jordan of Ohio, and I'm like, nah, he cool. I see what you saying, or whatnot about him. Like, you kind of feel like he probably ain't speaking up. Well, you got to understand that until Trump came into office, a lot of them were getting paid off from your top CEOs like Google, allegedly. I ain't saying Google exactly, but a lot of them people that got them billions and a lot of that money allegedly. So he, you know what I mean? He's trying not to destroy his political career, allegedly, Jim Jordan or whatnot, by putting his foot in his, but listen, hold up, by putting his foot in his mouth. Until Trump came into office, you're starting to see a lot of these alpha males starting to come out and trying to speak up. You see what I'm saying?
Not exactly. You're saying that Trump is giving them courage to speak up and speak out against people that have paid them off to be quiet?
Well, not even that.
Because
as far as a lot of the stuff.
Let me ask you about Jim Jordan specifically. Did you see I don't know if you watched Tucker Carlson Tonight, the TV show on cable news?
Get to it.
Did you hear that?
I'll be watching it. Go ahead.
Okay, so Tucker Carlson confronted Jim Jordan about
I seen it.
About Google, and because he was acting like, oh, Google is not a monopoly or something like that. They don't control the ad market or the search market or whatever. We don't have to break up Google or anything like that. They're not. How come he's kissing up like that? He's not fighting to win.
Well, no, my thing is, what Jim Jordan is doing, he's bringing it to the light. You see what I'm saying? And at least he, hold on. No, hold on. What you mean? He's being part of the solution, not the problem. See, him being the problem with him be him not standing up and saying that, but he's being part of the solution because he's bringing it to the American people.
I think that he is kind of like a Trey Gowdy in that he does talk about some of the bad things that these people do, but he's not an effective fighter in that he's not going to change anything. He's not going to enforce, or I don't know, Congress doesn't even really enforce, but he's not going to.
Well, hold up.
He's not going to call these people for what they are.
Well, he called it out.
He didn't call them a monopoly, or whatever. What antitrust laws? You know how they have these antitrust laws, and I don't even know much about it, but I know that they control the market, and they are kind of in bed with the government, and they stamp out competition. And there are all these Amazon exploiting the COVID thing to take over malls. And because they're exploiting the shutdowns. It's such a scam, and they're just playing right into the hands of the Democrats. Might as well call himself a Democrat, because he's not standing up for all the... He may kiss up to the fact that they are censoring conservatives, but they couldn't censor conservatives if they were not a monopoly, because then conservatives would have other platforms, like Gab would have an app, for example. But Gab does not have an app because the Apple Store and Google Play don't allow Gab to have their app. And they are a monopoly, right? Isn't that called a monopoly?
Yeah.
You should fight to win. But they're not fighting to win. He's play fighting. He's acting like he's fighting. So I don't trust him.
Well,
he has to prove. He has to, because why would it take Trump for you to have courage? You know? Yes, Trump can awaken men.
I don't think that it is courage. I think that it's more so rolling with the tide of the wave and knowing when to hold them and fold them, and that's what it is. It's as simple as that. And then my thing is this: if you see how deep the swamp is, that should confirm to you already what's really going on or whatnot, and how corrupt everything is with him. He doesn't seem like one of them corrupt Democratic scam artists. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not sure. I don't know what he is. That's what I'm saying. Because he is, I think that he's pretty weak. I think he's pretty weak. He may have some right, he may have even gone in with right intentions and all that stuff. But when you hit that real world pressure and you run into Nancy, is he a senator or a congressman? Congressman, right?
I have no idea.
When you run into you can't stand up to Nancy Pelosi, nervous Nancy, the mama of Congress, for like 16 years now. What a nasty person.
Hold up. But why you think that is? Why you feel like it's a lot of people ain't been standing up to Nancy, my sir? Why? That's my problem. A lot of people want to try to put everything on Trump or on Jordan. No, that's a lot of people that ain't been standing up.
I'm not holding anybody else above Jordan.
Yeah, but okay, but so my thing is besides that, with T, and that's what I'm starting to realize. The caller T, we talking about. What I'm starting to realize about a lot of them dudes is that they, just like the one caller said, or somebody in the chat said, that he probably was raised by a single female. That's how a lot of them are, since they are raised by female. They don't see what they saying or what they doing.
Maybe so.
They tend.
That's
to
a good
be,
question.
They tend to be like T is, females don't do no wrong. They hold females on a pedestal. You see what I'm saying? Or whatnot. And that's what I feel about T. And then I'm about to say, then get to DeWine. I think he a politician in Ohio.
Who's that?
He talk about the.
Can you name
one of the
DeWine? I don't recognize that name. What's his first name?
So check this out. He talking. I think it's Mike DeWine. Little shrimp neck dude.
Governor of Ohio?
Yeah, talking about some ballots, man. Ain't nobody stop talking about some dang on ballots, man.
He's a Republican?
Yeah, man. What I want to talk about is I want to talk about Mr. Householder. Man, I want to talk about Mr. Householder in the State House in the racketeering. I want to talk about these pedophiles in politics. I want to talk about these politicians being scammed.
Who are you talking to? You want Mike DeWine to talk about that stuff?
Yeah. Quit trying to switch the subject to everything else, man. Let's talk about the serious stuff. I want to talk about why it ain't no men up in these houses. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want.
That's a fair point.
I want to talk about the real stuff. Quit trying to flip and talk about some dang on ballots, man. You're not getting no mail-in. You're not getting no mail-in ballots, man. That ain't how it works in America. If you don't show up to vote, you don't vote. Tough titty, man. Cry about it, go to sleep, wake up to the next morning, man. You get over it.
Appreciate it. All right. Thank you, man.
And then, but not real quick. And then another thing is, I'm gonna have to have you. Yeah, but I'm gonna have to have you call the police, because I got Nancy Pelosi flying around my house with the other witches with souped up SRTs, broomsticks, and they flying around drinking insurance.
All right. Drinking what?
insure, the stuff for your old bones, old people's bones or whatnot, man. They all. I'm out of here, man.
Thank you, Art. Appreciate you, man. Hake, can you hire Art to read the Super Chat /D Live? Says Arizona lineman. He has a lot of energy. Yeah. And you can Super Chat. You cannot Super Chat on YouTube, but you can do it on streamlabs.tv/The Hake Report. Let me quickly get to... Oh, man. Let me get to KT in Washington, D.C. He wants to talk about Tomi Lahren, maybe Ben Sasse. Hey, KT, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, James? How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. So I just wanted to make a comment about the other
No
caller
man is
who was
good.
talking about. That's
It's in the Bible.
I know. I keep saying that, but I want to talk about the other gentleman who was calling about Ben Sasse. I live around a lot of Ben Sasses, so-called so-called conservatives, well put together family. You go, they got like 3-4 kids, a dog, a wife is a stay-at-home mom, but they're just a bunch of phonies.
Right.
And that dude Ben, I used to listen to him at some point, and I actually bought his book. He wrote a book about the downfall of the next generation, the millennials and the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
And just he wrote a pretty good book, which I agreed with 100%. But I mean, just seeing the way, I was really surprised seeing him, turning against Trump, and it's just not. Just not following the program. So I was surprised, but I was really not surprised at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that input. That's, pay attention, Pierce. Maybe pay attention to yourself, too, because...
Right.
Yeah, he wrote a book called The Vanishing American Adult back in 2017, and the genre is self-help. I don't know if that's a misnomer or not, but talked about Americans as a drifting, aimless people, awash in material goods and yet spiritually aching for meaning. It sounds kind of feel good. And then he also wrote a book in 2018 called Them, Why We Hate Each Other and How to Heal. If he really wanted so-called healing, he would be supporting Trump like crazy. But instead, he calls Trump a divider. Trump is not a divider. Right. He's a unifier around what's right, though.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, KT. Very good input.
Yeah. But I also want to talk about Tomi Lahren. I mean, the reason why Tomi Lahren attracts a lot of trashy men is because she's a trashy woman herself.
Right.
And doesn't she sound black, though? With all that talk about...
Where is she from?
Educated. She's
from
Idaho. She's from Idaho, but she sounded like a black woman talking about her education.
Rapid City.
Educated.
You said Idaho?
I think Idaho, right.
It says Rapid City, South Dakota.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm wrong. Well, Idaho, South Dakota, same thing.
And then she went to University of Nevada in Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah,
it is interesting. She was even clapping her hands to make a point, acting like the black women do that. It's always funny when they do that, too. It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But anyway, that's she's a mess. She's a mess herself. She's a mess. So, I mean, you guys...
And why is she using the term Tatianas? Women are becoming more black. Actually, you notice that the culture starts to adapt whatever was the black slang of 10, 15, 20 years ago. Everybody else starts to adopt it. It's kind of it's kind of reflecting the degeneracy. I mean, I respect some slang, right? But it's kind of reflecting the pop culture, which embraces all of the degeneracy that comes along with that language. Tatiana. Why is it acceptable? People even take that as a compliment in some cases. It's crazy.
I know. I have no idea what.
She's repeating that. You're right. It does not seem like her, like she's being herself truly. That's for sure. And she is such a sassy, bratty woman.
Yeah. She's like
even when she was reciting conservative talking points, she had that attitude. It's just like such a get me away from here. I don't want to listen to this.
But you know, I've never thought of her as a conservative.
Right.
I mean, even her stance on abortion. She was like.
Well, we didn't know that until 2017. I didn't know that until 2017.
Yeah. I mean, she said she's against abortion, but she's also against the government telling women what to do with their bodies. So I don't know what the heck that means.
It's not mentally clear. Yeah.
I know. But, I mean, the reason why I said she sounds black is, I mean, she definitely makes the point about, I mean, the Bible says it's not the flesh, it's the spirit. It's a spiritual issue.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with, you know, color or whatever. You know, so I don't know why most of these women usually go to race and all this stuff, but it has nothing to do with race. It's all the spirit.
Yeah. You're right about that, KT.
But anyway.
I appreciate it, man.
James.
Take care.
All right, man. All right, take care.
All right. Before I get to Pierre and Robert, let me just, there was something I wanted to cover. It had to do with, I mean, it was so nice to see Trump handling that guy at the, or not handling the guy, but handling the situation at the White House. And, you know, it's just like a female. Oh, yeah. Remind me of Words and James Baldwin. But it's just like a female reporter asked Trump, were you rattled? And that is such a snake sly move to like, oh yeah, I'm rattled. That's just showing utter weakness. But she's being sly about it. And I don't even know if she's aware of that being sneaky sly to try to undermine, make it look like the most powerful man in the world can scare easily because a guy a block away or however close could pull a gun and get shot by the Secret Service. And oh yeah, I'm rattled. And even when the guy went up to him, he's like, excuse me, what? And then the guy tells him, oh, okay. And he just walks away. And he's like, you can tell he's paying attention. But he's like unshakable. That's so nice. Yeah, this woman, Tomi Lahren, was either fired or forced to resign from the Blaze for being pro-abortion or not government telling you can't kill a baby, but it's crazy. Pro-choice. A woman's body. Such a lie. Anyways, I wanted to tell you about this guy, James Baldwin, who I covered. Homosexual guy, radical, evil guy. Earl likes him for some reason, even though he's dead. And he's radical homosexual. And, well, he's radical black. And he kisses up to the blacks, or kissed up to the blacks when he was alive. James Baldwin. He would have been 96 last week, right? Had he lived. And a sick person. He presented himself as though he were enslaved, or his children. I don't even know if he had any children, because he was homosexual and brazenly, shamelessly homosexual. But he talked about how if white men or Israel wields its guns and says, we want our freedom, we want our rights. There's a picture of him. And then a black man or black men carry guns and say the exact same words. We want our freedom. We want our rights. They're called radicals or whatever he said that they were. They're dismissed and they're feared or whatever. But that's not true, because blacks already have their freedom and rights. And the blacks are everything the blacks do, whether it's the radical Black Lives Matter ones or the Democrats or the RINOs. They work to undermine the moral responsibility of the black community, of the black people. They even blame Republicans for not paying attention to the black people. As if the blacks need to be paid attention to or get money to run for office. It's like blacks can't even be self-led. You heard that guy, Jeff Charles, the RINO, who came on to my show. He thinks that Jesse hates blacks. He thinks he likes blacks. He believes in racism, but he's a black conservative. But even he doesn't lay the blame on the blacks for not having their own leaders. They are just, only the Democrats pay attention. And he's right in the sense that the Republicans are afraid of the blacks. They won't tell the blacks the truth. And so the blacks have this no truth getting to them. But it's also the blacks' fault for voting for the Democrats, because even on the national level, they vote at like 97, 98%, 96%, 95% Democrat. That's insane. So the same words about saying, oh, I want my freedom, I want my rights, the same words don't mean the same thing in a totally different context. Dummy. But people pretend like, oh, the blacks say the same thing. They just want their rights and they're discriminated against. No, because they already have their rights. It's a totally different situation. Anyways, you get it? It's such a pretense. So anyways, let me get to Pierre in New Hampshire. Pierre, how are you doing?
Hey, Hake. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Are you French?
Well, that's the thing. I'm American. I basically was born from a father that came to the United States when he was 15, couldn't speak English, from Canada. And then my mother's parents, one side of the family came over the Atlantic from Italy and across the Atlantic from Ireland. And then by the time I was born, I couldn't feel anything Irish, Italian, or French. I'm American.
Right. But the first name is a French name, right?
Correct. When I was 15, I opened a telephone book, and I was astonished that in my small city there was 25 other people with the same exact first and last name.
Wow. You said in New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
Wow. Interesting. A lot of Canadians, a lot of French Canadians, huh?
Back in the day, yes. It was, there's some mill cities and so forth. A lot of people, for a lot of unknown reasons. That's funny you're asking. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed over the course of this? I wasn't calling for this, but if you don't mind, it's a math equation. I couldn't believe that a calculator computed letters, and I did this simple little, just conversing with my neighbors. Most people I meet cannot name all of their great-grandparents, let alone their great-great-grandparents. So based on a math equation, it takes a man and a woman to make a person. So that means that it took 4 people to make.
You said based on a. Did you say based on a math equation, it takes a man and a woman to make a person?
No. What I was going to get at is it takes. I'm always speaking facts that it takes a man and a woman to create another person.
Right.
But every time you meet someone, we should understand.
Except for Jesus.
Right?
Huh?
Well, no, this will actually get back to the point. Well, it all comes back to the fact that when we're living in a lie.
And Adam and Eve. Yeah.
Well, that's where it gets to that, because what happens is a lot of people are being taught lies about how we evolved and all that noise and nonsense. But when you try to tell them the fact of math, you take 2 people, a man and a woman, they make a child. That man and woman, it's the same process. So the number, if you do a 20-year average, just pick the number 20 years, the number should double every 20 years. And if you were to go back to the year 0, the number is so enormous that a calculator would be like, we don't have enough room, so we'll just put letters. So if you can hold that reality in your mind, you realize that we are living in a false narrative, that there had to be a beginning point. And when we were created, it's exactly as it's been explained to us by our forefathers that try to explain, do not deviate from the truth.
You mean that if you...
God,
are you talking about... You kind of lost me. You talked about, like, if the Earth were such and such billions of years old and we had people back then we would have more than just however many billion we have?
Well, according to some mathematicians, they would say that we're all 50 removed from each other because people have tried to tackle this reality. That and they say... That
I don't know. I'm lost. My head is swimming.
Oh, no, I apologize. It's something to maybe think about later.
I can't even think about it.
Well, no, it's important to think about it because it puts it back into perspective that when we have been born into a lie from those that orphaned us...
Are you talking about evolution being a lie?
I believe that we were created, for sure.
So evolution is one of the lies that you're talking about?
For sure, yes.
And then is old Earth a lie? Is the Earth, like, younger? Is that part of what you're saying, too? Like it's 10,000 or 8,000 or 6,000 or whatever years old? Rather than billions or millions or whatever? Is that what you're saying, too?
I would also have you consider...
So are you saying it's young Earth?
I'm not familiar what that camp is. I usually sit in all sorts of camps. I don't know, what's the young Earth camp?
Young Earth means the Earth is like 10,000 or less years old, rather than millions and billions of years.
Well, I think everyone would be taking a guess. I would say that it's
okay, so you're not even concerned with the... All right. I don't know, man.
Okay. Well, one of the things I was calling about, I was reminded. I like how you guys, because you guys were all chewing the cud about this particular womb man, this person that was trying to tell everyone about this, that, and whatever.
You talking about Tomi Lahren?
Yeah, that person. What I immediately surmised from watching the post when it came on Instagram, because I followed you guys posting, and it was tremendous to see. Now, if we get away from her words, if we just understand if we were to step back and from a technical point of view, that whole monologue she's giving, she's looking at herself as she's saying it. And that's just wicked. We have to understand how confused people are.
I guess because, are you looking at yourself when you're on IG Live? Oh, yeah, you are, huh? Okay, for the boomers, he's saying that she had the Instagram Live. I don't know if I'm wasting my time explaining this. Am I? No? Okay.
Am I wrong, Hake? Or it's okay.
Okay, all right. So yeah, when you're recording yourself as she was recording herself or live streaming, you see yourself. Okay. So all right.
No, but
interesting point.
No, it's beyond interesting. It's a crisis. What happened is, as she's speaking and she's monitoring herself as she's speaking. That's evil. She's so lost.
Yeah.
So if you look at the iPhone on the back, it's a bit apple.
Right. Yeah. Now, the tree of knowledge. The forbidden fruit of knowledge.
Well, they told you don't look
Is that what that means?
Yourself. They talk about
satanic.
Narcissism.
Might as well say 666. Yeah, very narcissistic. That's true. Yeah, she's totally into herself. You can tell. That's true.
No, it's almost everyone with an iPhone. What happened is everyone that we are trying to help, that's part of the thing that we are trying to tackle. Is that, for example, do you still do the silent prayer? Do you and your friends? Do you guys ever talk about that?
Me and my friends? I don't have friends. We're opening the treasure chest, but yeah, I do the silent prayer.
Well, what's interesting about the silent prayer, it's a biblical challenge. After you're done your silent prayer, how long can you go without saying the 9th letter of the alphabet?
Man.
How long can you? How long?
You're too over my head, Pierre. I can tell.
No,
I can see why your name is Pierre, because that's such a over my head type of a name. I appreciate the call, man. I got to run. I got to get onto my other callers and open the treasure chest.
Can I ask you one question before you go to your treasure chest?
Yes.
Would you say that someone like me is a nuisance to have called in? Because I get that immediate feeling that maybe I shouldn't be bothering you.
You can call in. You can call in, man. You can call in with your questions and comments. I'm
But it hasn't
lost.
led- it
I'm
hasn't
lost. I admit that I'm
I
lost
know.
a lot of the time. I am, but I don't know, man.
How do you
That's
get
such a
lost?
woman thing to ask. Is that are you being kind of a woman by asking me, am I bothering you? Am I a nuisance? Or is
No,
that
what I'm saying
British?
No, what I did is...
Am I
I took a
boring
moment
you?
to sit down.
Right?
No. I took a moment because you go on every day wanting to communicate with people, but maybe you don't. I don't have to sit down. I just wanted to contribute.
Yeah, I
But it's
appreciate
okay.
that.
I wish you much success, and I appreciate everything you're doing. Have a good day.
How old are you?
No, Hank, it's okay. Listen, the number, it's just a number. I mean, I would lose you again. You'd be like, it's over my
I
head.
know, because you start giving a long, complicated answer. Appreciate your call, man. Take care.
Have a good day.
We'll talk again. All right. Maybe, if he calls again. Anyways, while I'm opening the treasure chest, Robert in Kansas. Robert, how are you doing, man?
Hey, boy, doing real good. I do want to say that that was a good caller, so I hope he calls in.
Yeah, I didn't want to, but he was, it seemed like he was being a little underhanded.
Well, who knows, Hake?
Yeah.
I heard this morning that you were getting fat, and so I wanted to call in about that and tell you the secret of how to not be fat, especially as you get older, right? Because it's going to get harder and harder. You start getting fat in your face and all that. You don't want that, Hake. You want to be on camera.
Right.
So really the key is having a fast metabolism, right? Like, people who can just eat whatever they want.
Yep.
All right, so how do you do that if you don't? Well, one way is that you want to build, the key word is body composition. You want to build lean mass in the body because lean mass is active tissue. It needs oxygen, it needs calories, it needs nutrients. So if you build lean mass in your body, you're going to burn more calories 24/7. And then when you do things like calisthenics or whatever, like a cardio session, you're going to burn a lot more the bigger your muscles are. Imagine you have small muscles and you go for a jog. That's like a weed eater engine pumping gasoline through it. It only can do so much gasoline, so many calories.
Yeah.
If you got a bunch of muscles and you go and just even go take a nap, you might burn 500 calories in that nap, where if you didn't have those muscles, you would only burn, like, let's say 300 or 200, whatever, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does, man, and it works, too, and it works real fast. 6 to 8 weeks, you'll notice a result, and so I want to point you in that direction, Hake, and, those shoulders, man, you could do some presses, bro. I don't need to look at those.
I saw your chat the other day. I don't want to repeat it, but it was...
You don't know if that was me. What are you talking about?
I know. But, all right, I appreciate that, man.
All right, bro. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to the results, Hake, and I've got to keep you accountable. I'll be calling.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Robert. Take care, man.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
You as well. And then maybe I can earn a Tomi Lahren for myself. Just playing around. Congratulations and thank you to Joe Maddock, Hydro PX, Immortal Firmament, I believe, Noah's Arkansas, Arizona Lineman, Evgeny Crosby 2020, Asmodor, nice, appreciate that. Daryl Wayne, Take Care Business Bear, and LGBTQSTD. By the way, I haven't seen Lin Yen Chin in a little while. Is he busy? He got a job or something? Right on, if so. Or maybe he's still around just chilling or something like that. I don't know. But thank you guys for all of the support. Oh my gosh, and we are over time. This has been the Hake Report, thehakereport.com for my stuff. You can find the Hake News there as well. And you can find the blog posts. I post the write-ups on there too. All right, and jesseleepeterson.com/show for the Jesse Lee Peterson Show stuff. All right, guys, take care.